You open your eyes, and the first thing you feel is nothing good. Not energized, not ready, just heavy. Like the day already started without you and you're already behind. You lie there for a second, maybe longer than a second, staring at the ceiling or the wall or nothing in particular, and then the phone is in your hand. You don't even remember picking it up. But there it is, notifications, messages, news, someone else's morning already packaged and performing for your attention before your brain had a chance to wake up on its own terms. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. Most people think a bad morning is just bad luck. They think the fog, the low-level anxiety that follows them through the first half of the day, is just how mornings are. Some people are morning people. Some people aren't. And that's just that. But that's not true. And that's the first thing worth breaking open here. Your brain doesn't enter the day. Your brain gets programmed into the day. And the programming happens in the first few minutes after you wake up. Not slowly. Not gradually. In minutes. The emotional tone you absorb in those early moments. The anxiety. The scrolling. The rush. The noise. Becomes a default setting your nervous system runs on for the next several hours. Most people have no idea this is happening to them every single morning. On repeat. So the question isn't whether your morning shapes your day. It does. The real question is whether you're shaping your morning, or whether your phone, your habits, and your autopilot are doing it for you. And before you think this is going to be another video about waking up at 5 in the morning, or journaling for 45 minutes, or building some perfect elite routine that requires you to become a different person first. It's not. What I want to show you is 5 minutes. 5 deliberate, simple minutes that shift the way your brain enters the day. Not by accident, not by inspiration, by design. But first, let me be honest about something almost nobody says out loud. The problem with mornings isn't that people don't know what to do. Most people know they should drink water. Most people know they probably shouldn't grab their phone the second they open their eyes. They've heard the advice. The real problem is that mornings are the exact moment when your willpower is coldest, your habits are weakest, and your brain is most vulnerable to whatever comes first. And what usually comes first is chaos. Noise. Someone else's urgency. The system I want to give you isn't about motivation. It's about giving your brain a 5-minute window before the world gets in. And using that window to set the tone instead of absorbing one. You already spend the first minutes of your day doing something. You're already filling that space. The only question is what you're filling it with. Now here's where it gets interesting. There's a specific sequence that changes what your brain does with the rest of the morning. Not one habit, not one hack. A sequence. And the order matters. Let me walk you through it. The first step, and this sounds almost too simple, which is exactly why most people skip it, is anchoring your intention before your feet hit the floor. Before you stand up, before you check anything, you say something. Out loud if you can, internally if you can't. Just one sentence. Something like, "Whatever happens today, I choose to stay grounded." Or, "Today, I'll lead with patience." Or simply, "This day is mine." Now I know what you might be thinking. That sounds like something from a motivational poster. But here's what's actually happening. You're not performing positivity. You're giving your nervous system a directive before it gets hijacked by external input. Your brain, in those first moments after waking, is in a highly suggestible state. It's looking for a frame to operate from. If you don't give it one, it takes the first one it finds. And that's usually anxiety, urgency, or whatever notification pops up first. The sentence doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be yours. And it needs to come before anything else. Here's the mistake most people make. They think mindset happens after a good morning. The truth is, The morning happens after the mindset. The anchor comes first. The second step happens immediately after. And this is the part that actually has real backing behind it, even if it sounds soft. Find 3 things, small and specific, that you're genuinely grateful for right now. Not my family or my health in the abstract. Something concrete, the light coming through the window, the fact that your coffee is about to exist, the feeling of the sheets, the silence before the house wakes up. It doesn't matter what. What matters is that it's real, sensory, and happening right now. Your brain doesn't change its emotional baseline through big realizations. It changes through small, repeated attention patterns. When you direct your attention to something specific and real that you appreciate, even something tiny, your brain starts scanning for more of the same. It's not naive optimism. It's training your attention to look in a slightly different direction than it defaults to. The brain doesn't process generalities well. It responds to what it can sense. The more concrete your gratitude, the more your nervous system actually registers it. That's the difference between an affirmation that does nothing and a moment that shifts something. This leads directly to the third step, the one that changes the most and gets talked about the least. Before you touch your phone, put one hand on your chest, close your eyes, and breathe. In slowly for 4 counts, hold for a moment, then out slowly, 3 times. Maybe 4, under 60 seconds. Here's what's actually happening. Slow, deliberate breathing activates the vagus nerve, the nerve connecting your brain to your heart, gut, and major organs. This sends a signal to your nervous system that you are not under threat. It helps bring cortisol, the stress hormone that naturally spikes after waking, back toward baseline. Without this pause, immediately flooding your system with stress signals from your phone keeps cortisol elevated longer than it needs to be. You then spend the morning chasing a calm your own biology could have provided. 60 seconds of intentional breathing before the phone. That's the trade. If you're finding this useful, this channel is built for exactly this kind of content. Quiet, practical, grounded in how people actually function. If that's what you're looking for, consider subscribing. Not for me, for the version of yourself you're working toward. Step 4. Subtle, but it changes the texture of your entire day once you start doing it. After the breathing, ask yourself one question. Not a list. Not a planning session. One question. What's one thing I can do today that would make my life 1% better? Not better forever. Not better in some long-term abstract sense. Today. One thing. Small enough to be real. Most people start their mornings either completely reactive, responding to whatever comes at them, or overwhelmed by everything they have to do. Neither is useful. Reactive means you're letting the day happen to you. Overwhelmed means your brain defaults to avoidance, and you end up doing nothing that actually matters. But one small, specific question shifts something. Your brain stops scanning for threats and starts looking for direction. And direction, even imperfect, minimal direction, is what separates a day that felt meaningful from a day that just passed. The answer doesn't need to be impressive. Send one email you've been avoiding. Drink water before coffee. Speak with a calmer tone to someone you've been short with. 1%. Over time, these small acts of intention compound. The days you show up with even slight direction build something the chaotic, reactive days quietly dismantle. And here's the part nobody mentions about morning routines. The goal isn't to feel amazing. The goal is to feel oriented. Feeling amazing is something that happens to you. Feeling oriented is something you build. Knowing the direction you're moving, even slightly, changes the quality of your attention for hours. The fifth step is the one your body needs, not just your mind, and it's the one most people skip because it feels optional. It's not. Move. 30 seconds. 1 minute. 10 squats. Walk fast. Shake out your arms. It doesn't matter what. What matters is that your body receives a physical signal that the day has begun. Your brain runs on blood flow. When you're lying still, your prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making, focus, and emotional regulation, is operating below its capacity. Brief movement changes that. Even 30 to 60 seconds of physical activity increases circulation, triggers the release of dopamine and endorphins, and helps your brain shift into an active state. This is why so many people feel like they only woke up hours into their day. They never gave their body the signal to begin. They stayed in a half-asleep physical state while their mind tried to perform, running on low circulation and elevated cortisol, and then blamed themselves for being slow, foggy, or unmotivated. You're not lazy. You were just waiting for something your body never got. Movement is the switch, and it takes less than a minute to flip it. So here's the full sequence. And this is where the loops close. You anchor your intention before your feet touch the floor. You find 3 real, concrete things you're grateful for right now. You breathe slowly and deliberately before you touch your phone. You ask yourself one question about one meaningful action for today, and then you move. Enough to tell your body the day has started. 5 steps. Under 5 minutes. No equipment. No perfect conditions. No version of yourself you have to become before this works. The reason most morning routines fail isn't that they're too hard. It's that people treat them like a performance they have to earn, instead of a practice they can start right now, exactly as they are. They wait until they feel motivated. They wait until they have more time. They wait until things calm down. And while they wait, the mornings keep happening on autopilot. The phone keeps setting the tone. The fog keeps lingering. The day keeps arriving before they do. You don't need a perfect morning. You need 5 minutes that belong to you before anything else gets them. 5 minutes where you're not reacting, not consuming, not performing. Just orienting. Just setting the channel your brain will run on for the next several hours. The day you start doing this, even imperfectly, even half awake, even skeptically, is the day your mornings start feeling like something you're choosing instead of something that's happening to you. That's the difference. Not between morning people and everyone else, between intentional and automatic, between oriented and reactive, between the version of you that arrives at the end of the day exhausted and slightly resentful, and the version that arrives tired, yes, but with the quiet sense that today was actually yours. Which of these 5 steps do you think would be hardest for you to actually do tomorrow morning? Not because you can't, but because of what gets in the way. Drop it in the comments. I have a feeling your answer will tell you something worth knowing. Start tomorrow. Not from zero. From here.